Hey everybody, good to see you guys again. Sorry I was gone for a bit. I've missed you guys. It's good to be back with you. This is Deep Space. My name's Ben. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor. And this is a space, deep space, that we've created to take some of the things that I'm talking about with my clients. This is for my clients. This is for my family and friends, a place to just talk about deeper things, the things that matter. So we're going to do that. Today we're going to talk about something that's been pretty tragic. There's been another tragedy. There's been another shooting. This time in Texas, last I saw, 26 people killed. I don't really have the words to dig into that. It's just brutal. It's ugly. It's horrific. It is just an absolute. Well, it's tragic, and it's changing so many lives in ways that I can't wrap my head around. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I've noticed about the way that we're talking about these tragedies and the ways that some things that seem to be changing. And so consider this as partially a public service announcement for those of you that maybe haven't caught on to this trend or haven't seen that this is happening, because you should know about it. And I thought we would talk about both sides of it because I think both sides have validity, and that's kind of my job, is to find the middle ground and things like this, and to look at the benefits, the costs of both sides of an issue like this. So we're going to be talking about thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, right? So if you've been paying attention, you're pretty familiar with that phrase by now. It's changing, right? For the longest time when there's a tragedy like this, thoughts and prayers are what people offer to try to extend condolences, to try to let the people that are involved in a tragedy know that we're with them, that we're thinking of them, and that we care. And especially with gun violence, thoughts and prayers have been kind of getting a bad rap, and for good reason, I think. Thoughts and prayers seem to be becoming code for all I'm really going to offer you. And I thought it'd be good to talk about, because I know I see thoughts and prayers in my Facebook feed and from people that I love offering that up, and I don't think that's what they mean. I don't think that they're trying to say all you get are my thoughts and prayers, or this is all that this counts for. But that's the way that it's starting to come across, and how it's starting to feel. So there's been some blowback, right? People are starting to say there's a game you can play. You should Google thoughts and prayers. It's like, try to save America. I wonder if I could find it. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers, the game. America faces an epidemic of mass shootings. It's up to you to stop them with the power of your thoughts and prayers, right? So it's kind of becoming a bit of a joke. It's taking on almost a insulting tone. People are becoming fed up with just your thoughts and prayers, especially when they hear it from lawmakers who that's all they'll offer are thoughts and prayers, and especially with a tragedy like gun violence, where it sure feels like something else could be done, but all we get instead are thoughts and prayers. So I thought I would talk a little bit about the upside of thoughts and prayers, why people are offering that. There's good in it, right? When you offer your thoughts and prayers, if it's authentic, if it's genuine, what you're trying to say in that is that I'm with you in this. My thoughts are with you. I am moved by this tragedy. It matters to me, and I'm going through my day with my thoughts, my heart, and prayers as an extension of what I care about, offering that compassion and that empathy and my condolences to you, right? And I think of that as a good thing. I think that offering thoughts and prayers like that I'm glad to know that people care. Any empathy that we find in the world today, any compassion, any condolences of any kind like that, I vote for that. I think that's a good thing. The downside of thoughts and prayers is limitations, right? So what do I do with your thoughts and prayers when I'm dealing with the loss of my child from another senseless gun-related tragedy, when lawmakers are saying, hey, I'll give you that, I'll give you my thoughts and prayers, but that's the extent of it. So the upside being compassion and empathy, the downside being impotence and really no actionless, impotent response. People are kind of getting fed up with that. So That makes sense to me. So does the other side, though. It makes sense to me too to be thinking about this from a perspective of your thoughts and prayers that's nice of you, but that's probably at this point when it comes to an issue like this, is probably insufficient. Right? At this point in our culture and our society, when it comes to this epidemic of gun violence, we're kind of being conditioned. People that give us only thoughts and prayers, lawmakers especially, we're kind of being conditioned to believe that there's nothing that can be done about this. That the only option that we have is thoughts and prayers. Our only weapon, our only response, the only thing we can give you, tragedy struck in community and family and culture and country, is our thoughts and our prayers. We just wish it would get better. This is being perpetuated by the idea that evil's gonna evil, and that people are just gonna kill each other with other things if we make any changes towards gun laws. If anything, if we try to seriously approach this issue, there's nothing we can do about it. It's really not true. If you look at statistically about where gun violence comes from and the differences in this country with gun violence and other countries, and you look at the amount of gun-related homicides that other countries that have less access to guns, there's a stark difference. And so that would be something that I would encourage you to look into if that's not something that you're aware of, because it's a really big deal. So the idea that thoughts and prayers are all that we can offer, all that we can do, is really it's handcuffing our nation, and it's a myth. It's a myth. It's just not accurate. There are things that we can do, but a part of what we can do is to be giving our compassion and to be giving our empathy. So we want to be able to me, I see the value in saying, let's stop with this idea of we can do nothing but care, and let's marry that caring with action. So consider this video kind of a twofold video about, one, be aware that when you offer your thoughts and prayers on your social media accounts and things, that's not going to be received the way that it maybe has traditionally been, and that you should know that's just sort of to make sure you don't come across as tone deaf to sort of the way that the nation is responding to these things. But two is maybe a call to action. We can do something about this epidemic shouldn't keep going. And this is what I'm most afraid of with this, right? This is why I think that this is most important. This is why I'm talking about it today. There's a mass shooting in this country every 2 months. And I think what's happening is this idea that we can do nothing about it and that we can just offer our thoughts and prayers as a meaningful response, but limit our response to that, to the epidemic of gun violence. I think the idea of that is mostly coming from, I would imagine, as somebody who works with psychology and looks into the human race for a living and who's studying sociology, I think that what's happening is that these shootings don't touch us personally. And so the idea of offering thoughts and prayers feels sufficient because the tragedy is outside of us. The tragedy is removed from us. But what I'm afraid of is that this tragedy is coming for us. I'm afraid that this is going to become more and more personal. Every 2 months we see something like this on average now. And I'm worried that this is going to take my kids. I'm worried that this is going to be something that I'm going to experience, that you're going to experience, and I'm worried that it's going to take more and more of that before we wake up and say something's got to be done. I guarantee you the people that are touched by this directly are having a different response than just thoughts and prayers for the next one. People in Vegas, related to Vegas, I would imagine, I'm speaking for people here, so I want to do that sensitively, and I know this isn't everybody, but I would imagine more of those people and people related to that story would probably be saying to the people in Texas more than just thoughts and prayers. And we'll be saying things like, this has to stop. We have to do whatever we've got to do to make this stop. Most people that are really serious about impacting this and who have not resigned themselves to, well, it's just something that's going to happen. We're just going to have to deal with about double-digit casualties and fatalities every couple of months and just really hope it's not our families and hope it's not us. That's just what we're going to have to do. The people that are not taking that attitude generally look at this and say something has to be done about guns. I know that's controversial. I know there are a lot of people that I love who have a different take on that. And I don't mean that to be I don't mean that to draw a line in the sand and say we're on opposite sides, because I love you and I'm in this with you. I want you to be safe, and I want your families to be safe. And it really sure seems to most people who are actually approaching this with their eyes open that something has to be done about guns. Most people are thinking about that, about doing something about guns. If that's not your thing, if you've got a better solution, if you're not all about the gun control thing and you're all about Second Amendment rights, okay, well, do something though. What can you do that can make this better? How can you be a part of making sure that this stops? Because it has to stop. The bottom line is we have to do something, right? A lot of people are approaching this with, we have to do something about guns. If that's not going to be the solution, I'd love to hear what it is. I'd love to hear some sensible solution that can help make us safer, whatever that is. I'm all ears. But let's just make sure at the end of the day that thoughts and prayers aren't the only thing that we're offering. Do something more. And something more than just thinking about the victims of gun violence and praying for them. Instead of praying for something to be done, let's do something. Instead of praying for, God, do something in the lives of these people, how about do something in our lives that calls us to action, that moves us to making a change? Because that's the way that this is going to have to go down, right? This isn't going to change without something changing. The trajectory on this is moving upward. This is getting worse. And it's really ugly. Nobody's immune to it, right? You could be a first grader in an elementary school and you're not, and it's happening. You can be at church. You can be at a country music festival. You can be at a party in San Bernardino. It's happening to everybody. It's every walk of life. So before it happens to you and before it happens to your family, before it happens to me, I think my thoughts and my prayers are being moved now towards compassion for the victims and their families. Those systems are utterly devastated and destroyed by this. But I'm going to allow my thoughts and my prayers to move forward into what can we do as citizens of this country to make sure that it's safer for families like this family, these families in Texas. Safer for my family, safer for yours. Let's let our thoughts and our prayers do something. Instead of just praying that it would get done, let's pray for how we can make a difference in it. Does that all make sense? Again, I know it's super controversial. I know people hold their guns like really passionately, and they pay a lot of attention to any sort of call to changing things. But I know that there's a lot of blowback about politicizing things like this, and I agree. I don't think that tragedy should be politicized. But at this rate, there's one of these every couple of months. When are we going to talk about this? And again, I hope that we can talk about it now before it's your family and before it's mine. So I love you guys. I want you to be safe. I want us to all be able to live in a community together where we take good care of each other, where we offer our thoughts and our prayers from a perspective of empathy and a perspective of compassion, and that we offer our thoughts and our prayers towards God. How, in our thoughts, how can I be a part of a solution, and how can I make a difference in making sure that our country and our communities are safer, and that this gets put to a stop, because this has to end. I'm with you guys in that pursuit. I hope that we can all pursue that together. I think that's something that we can all agree on, right? Let's make it stop. Let's be done with this. Let's be done with these massacres and gun violence and these tragedies, and let's not keep having to make videos about yet another take on another senseless tragedy like this. So I'm with you guys in that. This is Deep Space again. If this is the kind of thing that you're into, if you're into videos about mental health and about our lives and what makes us who we are in humanity, feel free, hit like, subscribe. More videos are coming. We're trying to do a couple of these a week, so we'd love to have you on that journey with us. So again, my name is Ben. I love you. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.